What is going on, Bucs fans? Evan Wanish here, back at you with another video talking about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And today we have some news regarding the Buccaneers quarterback competition and who will be the starter against the Pittsburgh Steelers this upcoming Friday night, which is the first preseason game. Pittsburgh Steelers are coming to town to play the Buccaneers in Tampa. So we do have an answer, and it is per Pewter Report's J.C. Allen, and JC is reporting that Baker Mayfield will start the first preseason game against the Steelers. He also reports that Kyle Trask will start the second preseason game against the New York Jets, which is next week. That's in New York. He also notes that the two have been rotating first team reps daily through the offseason and training camp. So it appears that Baker Mayfield is set to be the starter when the Bucs try out there, and he'll play with the first team, which means he'll be getting the looks with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, Russell Gage, the first team offensive line. That's a really big one. Being able to be protected by the first team offensive line is definitely a big one. So I'm curious to see how Mayfield's going to perform. And then, of course, Kyle Trask, I'm sure, will enter shortly after. I don't know how, there wasn't a specific thing on how many drives Mayfield would get as the starter. I'm not sure, so I'm not sure when Trask will exactly get in. John Wolford is also expected to play at some point during that preseason game versus the Steelers as well. So just like with Trask and in the next game, Mayfield will be with the second team. Trask will have a chance to finally throw to guys like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, K-Dot, and Russell Gage behind the first-string offensive line, which I know a lot of Bucs fans wanted to see from Kyle Trask, because everybody was basing it on his preseason play, and a lot of people were saying, well, versus in the preseason, he's not playing with the actual starters who he'd be playing with. So I know a lot of fans are going to be curious to see how Kyle Trask performs in that second preseason game. But it does appear that the Buccaneers have settled on Baker Mayfield to be their starter versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Baker Mayfield gets the first look in the quarterback competition. Does this mean Baker Mayfield has the edge as far as the quarterback competition goes? I don't know. I don't think so. I think the Buccaneers want to get an equal look at both guys. And I think they will do that. I think that's the best way to do it. But I do think that by the time that third preseason game rolls around, you're probably going to have a really good idea of who the starter is, because I think the guy who plays the least amount in that third preseason game is probably the guy who's going to be the starter. So both players have had bad days in camp. They've had good days in camp. John Wolford has had a really good camp as well. But as far as Mayfield and Trask go, they've both been up and down. Trask has really progressed nicely since last year. Like I said, he looks like a different player. So very curious to see how both of them perform under the lights when somebody else is trying to get them, right? Not their own teammates or anything. It's going to be more contact, more physicality. So a real pass rush coming at you. And I'm going to be curious to see how they both perform. But it does appear per Pewter Report to J.C. Allen that Baker Mayfield will start the first preseason game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let me know what you guys think about Baker Mayfield starting the first preseason game, Kyle Trask getting the nod in the second game, and then the third game's kind of up for grabs still, but we'll see when we get to that point. But let me know what you guys think about Baker Mayfield getting the start here. Let me know who you're rooting for in the Bucs quarterback competition. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and talk soon.